Details with Double R, right here on the Common Ground Media Network.
Alright, folks, and happy Monday morning. I know for some of you those words don't go together. I do apologize. For those of you who've been listening for a while, as you know, this is my Friday from my day job, and it's my Monday from the fun one, for the fun one, so I get to kick it off hanging out with you guys for about the next hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. This show's going to be a little different. I'm going to try not to rant quite so much, although that really did seem to go over well last week, so who knows. I'm sure at some point something will piss me off and I'll get going. Going to start off kind of like I normally do. Those of you who've been listening for a while have heard me play this song before. I do apologize. For some reason, this one is really stuck in my head. This is from a group called You Are a Hologram, and it's Big Brother. Now, as time goes on, I will start incorporating some music stuff that we're working on behind the scenes, because for those of you who don't know, this show is actually an offshoot of what at some point is going to be a full-fledged production company and media company, just doing some things to get that started. So, gonna take just a moment and get myself a little more coordinated here. So we're gonna go ahead and roll a song, and we will be right back.
What you do not realize, what you don't understand, this is for your own good. If you do not accept these conditions and rules set before you, they shall be forced upon you for the good of society as a whole, and the well-being and the preservation of the free and the gratification. Without rules, there is anarchy. To entities powers fitted with your conception of freedom is professed inside. You're hardly in a position to dictate freedom.
The satellite is on me now, watching every move I make, recording every word I say. The system says it's working now, self-correcting, there are no questions to be asked, no, none to be raised. Am I out of my head? Are they pushing you down? And am I out of my head? Are they pushing you down? The propaganda machine that says don't even try. You can stop your brother now. And what did you say? Would you please explain? Mistakes we've made will linger on. On and on.
And we are back, folks. Again, this is America Off the Rails, and I am your host, Double R. And it is, of course, Monday. This would be Columbus Day, October 14th. So happy Columbus Day to all you federal workers out there and bank folks who happen to manage to score the day off. It's my Friday, so I really wish I would have managed to score a day off too. But that's okay. Life goes on. Okay, so before we get into the meat of the show, a couple of semi-fun things I kind of wanted to talk about before I put my tinfoil hat on here for today. Yeah, this is going to be, like I said, a little bit different of a show. I have a theory that's been forming in my head for a while, but we'll get to that in a minute. So, who's as happy as I am about The Walking Dead being back on the air? If my wife was in the room right now, she would be rolling her eyes and cursing at me. She hates that show. I'm not sure if that may be part of the reason why I like it or not. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I fell a little bit behind. Managed to get caught up thanks to the rewind they did right before this one. Some things went on last season. I don't know. Last season I kind of lost interest a little bit. Then I caught up, and then this one, so far it's... Well, I don't want to spoil it for anybody who may not have watched it yet. But if you have watched it, if you're like me, at the very end you were like, what the hell was that? Because I know that's exactly how I felt. But anyway, some other really good shows on if you haven't checked them out yet. Sleepy Hollow on Fox. Oh my god, I so love that show. And it's funny, Dave, my co-host over on our BTR channel, who hosts Finding Common Ground with me and the Red Shirt Friday show, was talking about the character Ichabod Crane, and in the very first episode he starts throwing a fit about the 10% surcharge on edible sweets. And Dave was like, as soon as he started ranting about taxes, I thought about you. I was like, yes! Because that is so me. I look at a receipt and I'm like, what is this convenience fee crap? What is this? I mean, come on. I mean, think about it just for a second. Anybody remember the 80s Popeye movie with Robin Williams and Shelley Duvall? And all the little stupid asinine taxes they had all over the place? Convenience fees for this, happiness fees for that. Somebody watched that movie as a kid and had a Monty Burns moment and went, ooh, excellent. I can start making sure we charge everyone for all of this, and they will have to pay it. Sorry. I woke up a little later than usual today, and it's raining where I am, so I am on my fourth cup of coffee. So if I sound a little more wired than usual, that would be why. So yeah. But something I haven't done over here that I used to do quite often, I have... it's still kind of a tiny group, but I have a group of followers. I call them my Green Jello Brigade. I've had them ever since I was doing the show over on the BTR channel. I'll let you hear the clip in a second as to why I call those of you who've sent me emails that. Speaking of which, if you're interested in being notified first of when we start putting out things like t-shirts, bumper stickers, coffee mugs, things like that, just shoot me an email over at our current company one, which is commongroundmediagroup@gmail.com. There's only 4 of us that check that email on a regular basis. What we'll do, if you send us an email, we will put your name on a list with your email address, and as soon as we get some stuff ironed out and we actually will start doing things like coffee mugs, bumper stickers for all the different shows, even one just for the company itself probably at some point. If you're interested in one or all of those, shoot us an email. We will get a list compiled, and when we start selling them off, those of you who sent us an email will get a discount. Those of you who didn't, full price, bitches. Just kid. Well, not really kidding, just trying to be funny. But yeah, at this point, I'm going to give a little shout out to my Green Jello Brigade.
I'm the enemy because I like to think. I like to read. I'm into freedom of speech and freedom of choice. I'm the kind of guy that just sit in a greasy spoon and wonder, gee, should I have the T-bone steak or the jumbo rack of barbecue ribs with the side order of gravy fries? I want high cholesterol. I want to eat bacon and butter and buckets of cheese, okay? I want to smoke a Cuban cigar the size of Cincinnati in the non-smoking section. I want to run through the streets naked with green jello all over my body reading Playboy magazine. Why? Because I suddenly might feel the need to, okay, pal? I've seen the future. You know what it is? It's a 47-year-old virgin sitting around in his beige pajamas, drinking a banana broccoli shake, singing, I'm an Oscar Mayer wiener.
And that, folks, is where I came up with the idea for my Green Jello Brigade. Gotta love Dennis Leary and Demolition Man, because honestly, other than the 47-year-old virgin in his mom's basement, we're pretty much being controlled in all of the things that he was talking about there. Just ask anybody who there for the longest time thought they weren't going to be able to buy a Big Gulp in New York, or New York City. Not sure whatever happened with that, but I hear the new mayor, or the new person running for mayor over there, has even bigger plans for them. So if you live in New York City and you want to be free, run now. Texas is good, but don't come down there and try to change it. Oklahoma's great too, but if you come down here and try to change this place, you're gonna probably wind up with a boot in your ass. Just saying. We like things the way they are here. For the most part. There are some things that could be better, but... Okay, so... Again, if you are interested in t-shirts, bumper stickers, coffee mugs, things like that, shoot us an email, commongroundmediagroup@gmail.com. That also works for questions, comments, concerns, because as of right now, this show is not set up to take callers. We do have quite a few people that listen on a regular basis, though, so if you have anything you'd like me to discuss, or you would like to set up a time to come on the air over on our other channel, or even if you want to become a sponsor, which we are working on as well, do have a few now. We're still small, but we're growing, so now would be the perfect time to get in, because we're not going to charge you a lot, and you may get some grandfathered rates for a while, especially if you're a new startup online, or something that is local to the Oklahoma City area, because that's where our target is right now, is either web-based businesses, so they can pretty much get out to everybody, or something local, because I definitely want to build up local stuff before I try to take things too far out, because too far too fast, and it's all going to blow up on my face. Been there, done that. Alright, so good shows that are on right now before I get started with my rant. We've already talked about Sleepy Hollow, which, granted, if you are like diehard original Sleepy Hollow lore person, this show's probably not going to be one that you're going to be able to get through the first episode without wanting to pull your hair out. But if you're looking for an interesting take that is different than the original lore, which was what I was kind of hoping for, because let's face it, the other way would have been kind of boring, because we all would have known pretty much everything, because, I mean, come on, if you've played WoW for more than 10 minutes during Halloween, you're pretty familiar with the whole Headless Horseman thing, if nothing else. And who here that is a nerd has not played WoW? I mean, come on. For those of you who aren't nerds, that's World of Warcraft. So, let's see. Oh, Shield. Really, really, really like that show. For some reason, it's getting mixed reviews, which makes me nervous, because if memory serves, it's an ABC show. And every show I have recently really, really liked on ABC that has been kind of science fiction-y, that's gotten mixed reviews, has not lasted more than a season. I really, really hate ABC for that. I hate investing an hour of my life every week to spend time on a show thinking that it's going to be around and that I can get to know the characters and everything else, and then some little bean counter butthead at ABC says, oh, this one's only getting 1% of the market share. We should replace it with reality TV. Yeah. Reality TV is cool. I hate bean counters. So, yeah. Shield, another one I'm really liking. Sadly, again, getting mixed reviews. Hopefully it stays around for longer than a season. They should just keep bringing Jedi Jules back over, because, yeah, as long as he keeps showing up, I'm sure people will start listening, or keep watching. But we'll see. So, let's see. Talked about S.H.I.E.L.D. Talked about that one. Yeah, honestly, other than some of the stuff that I'm still watching that's been around for a while, those are really the two new ones that are kind of standing out for me. So, I guess that's pretty much it as far as I am concerned on the new show front. I guess we're going to go ahead and get into the meat of the show. So I have something I would like to play for you. I do not own this. You'll recognize it once it is played. And it kind of goes along with what I'm going to be talking about today. Because as I said, I have a theory that's been swimming around in my head for the last couple of weeks. And the more this goes on, the more I'm wondering if I'm right or not. So I'm going to let you know what I think. Give you some articles to kind of back up why I think what I think, and then I'll let you guys make the decision. You can even shoot me a message over at the Facebook page. Tell me I should be wearing a tinfoil hat. That would be www.facebook.com/America Off the Rails. Anyway, check this out, and then we'll get started.
You can feel it when you go to work, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
And that's basically where we find ourselves now. I find myself wondering day to day, at some point, did we wind up going down the rabbit hole? I say that for several reasons. One, if you're paying attention to all this shutdown stuff, there are some things going on that really, really make me want to go find my duct tape. Like the fact that the gentleman who was the running mate to Mr. Romney during the last election cycle is now suddenly coming out and sounding more and more like a centrist and a moderate Republican, and which on the surface sounds really good. That's what a lot of us have been looking for, is people that are willing to go back towards the middle a little bit, but still manage to stick to their guns. But at the same time, this guy's just ready to cave on everything and just give the Democrats whatever they want, which, with some of the stuff we've got going on, is a very bad thing. But here's the thing that's been troubling me about all of this. This shutdown and the rollout now have been going on for nearly 2 weeks. The rollout of ACA and the shutdown were almost synchronized with one another, which I find interesting for two reasons. One, I don't believe in coincidence. Two, stop and think about it for a moment. If it wasn't for the fact that every single major news network, including Fox News, and CNN, MSNBC, NBC, ABC, CBS, which I'm not even sure if we should call MSNBC, let them have the news word in there anymore, because they've pretty much proven they're just not news. I mean, my socialist broadcasting company would probably fit better, but whatever. Okay, so anyway, I mean, think about it. If not for the fact that all of the major networks are going on and on and on about the government shutdown, the failure in Congress, I mean, Fox is trying to spin it a little bit more towards the right side by talking about the fact that the administration is actually the one that, while they weren't the ones that shut it down, they're the ones that control how the shutdown gets administered. The thing they're not talking about, and the only thing we would be talking about, is the fact that this administration got their website built by somebody at oneandone.com. No, not literally, folks, but come on, let's face it. Have you tried to use that thing? Because I have. I don't even need to use it. I went on just to see what it would do. All I keep getting is, I'm sorry, please try again later. So, I mean, think about it. If not for the fact that the shutdown is consuming everyone's waking moment in the news cycles, what else would we have to talk about? This goes back to something that I've written about before over on the Otter Limits. I am a contributor there. Otter right now is laughing because if he's listening, because I've only contributed one piece since he's asked me. But let's face it, I'm kind of busy. I'm trying to build a low-rent media empire here. But yeah, I mean, it's the thing that's been bugging me for some time is we no longer really seem to have a two-party system. They roll things out every election. They give people things that they feel like they should stand for, and then they have you pick up your red or your blue banner, and they have you run to the polls, and you pull your lever, and nothing flippin' changes. I mean, look at what Obama ran on compared to what he's doing now. And don't get me wrong, because for most of his presidency, I was a fan of Bush 43. At least until towards the end. Because here's the thing that annoys the crap out of me. And you can go back and look up the numbers for yourself. I'm not here to babysit you. I'm just here to give you information. Until the Democrats took control of both houses during Bush's second term, our economy was humming along pretty well. Stop and think about that for a second. I mean, really think about it. Go back and look at the numbers. Is it a coincidence that right about the same time that Bush started trying to say things about needing to rein in Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, that the then Democratic-controlled houses of both the Senate and the House of Representatives, led by one Mr. Barney Frank, were talking about how, according to the president, the sky is falling and we're going to have some sort of a collapse in the housing market, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Funny thing is, call me crazy, but he was right. Just throwing that out there. You know, you can blame whichever side you want to blame. I mean, but let's face it, I've seen some crazy, crazy claims coming out lately, especially in regards to Obama. I saw a meme posted on a page that shall remain nameless because I don't want to give them any more credit than they do not deserve. They have a side-by-side of Obama and Reagan. Reagan, if you're from your point of view, Reagan would be on the left, Obama would be on the right, which I found to be kind of interesting. But it talks about how Reagan tripled the debt and raised the debt ceiling umpteen times, and Obama has cut the deficit in half and is being compared to Hitler. I want to know, first of all, where you're getting your numbers, because the only thing that's lowered our deficit is the fact that Obama enforced a sequester that he didn't really want in the first place. At least he said he didn't. So who is it that's really cut the deficit? That's food for thought moment number one. I mean, come on. You know, I was a kid when Reagan was president, so I'm having to do a lot of this through research. But last I checked, our economy basically did a complete turnaround while that man was in office. And if you try to say otherwise, you're a flippin' idiot. I mean, look at the difference between when Carter was in office and when Reagan left office. We had unprecedented job growth. We had lower taxes, which increased revenue, by the way. That's the part that nobody ever really seems to understand. If the government isn't taking more of your money, you can do more of what you want with your money. And we have a keeping up with the Joneses mentality anymore. So the less they're actually taxing you, the more the economy is going to flourish, because at some point back in the 70s, some idiot decided we needed to be the banking community of the world. So all we were going to be dealing in is money and services and no production. That was a bright idea. Somebody should find that guy and give him a medal. Upside the head. But yeah, anyway, I do have a few articles to go along with some of what I wanted to talk about today. Mainly to do with the whole ACA debacle. This is from the Miami Herald. This is Dateline from Sunday. Obamacare enrollees become urban legend. This is by Patricia Borns and Daniel Chang. Will the Floridians who have enrolled for Obamacare please stand up? I suddenly have an Eminem song in my head. Nearly 2 weeks after the federal government launched the online health insurance marketplace at healthcare.gov, individuals who have successfully used the choked-up website to enroll for a subsidized healthcare insurance plan have reached a status akin to urban legend. Everyone has heard of them, but very few people have actually met one. The Miami Herald searched high and low for individuals who've completed enrollment for a subsidized health plan through the marketplace, also called an exchange, launched by the federal government on October 1st in 36 states, including Florida. The Herald solicited readers for stories of enrollees online and in the newspaper, and received a fair number of responses reflecting various degrees of success with healthcare.gov, which has been plagued by technical problems that federal officials attribute to an overwhelming number of people trying to access the website at once. A keystone of federal healthcare reform law, known as the Affordable Care Act, the exchange is intended to provide affordable, comprehensive health insurance for the millions of Americans who do not have coverage. As of Friday, however, only a smattering of success stories had emerged. In news reports, Politico.com, an online news outlet, reported that a 21-year-old Georgia resident who enrolled successfully has become a cause celebrity with national media and even the White House touting his story. For now, there's no reason for consumers to panic, federal officials say. Enrollment in the exchange lasts until March 31st, though people must pick a plan by December 15th to have coverage to begin on January 1st. On Friday, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, which oversees the federally run exchange, reported that healthcare.gov has received 14.6 million unique visitors in the first 10 days. Technical experts have added capacity to allow more simultaneous users onto the exchange since the first week of launch, and officials also have ramped up telephone and in-person paper applications, and a new feature added to healthcare.gov on Friday allows users to see premium estimates by state, health plan, and 2-age categories. We have greatly reduced and even eliminated wait times at the registration stage, and more people are actively shopping and comparing plans. Rollout of the health insurance exchanges has not been an all-around flop, however. States such as California, where state legislatures chose to create their own exchange instead of handing off to the federal government, have experienced some problems, but they have also reported successful enrollment of thousands of eligible individuals into subsidized health plans. Okay, so the gist of that one is, for those of you who have managed to sign up, congratulations. You are the minority at this point, because everyone else who's trying, not so much. The other thing that's interesting is if you look at the numbers, according to the leader of the Health and Human Services for the government, the federal level, she said the servers were designed to handle about between 56 and 57,000 people a day coming on to look at things. Just for the record, folks, with the number of people we have in this country, you only have 6 months to get signed up. It would take several years to get everyone enrolled if the servers are only designed to hold that much capacity. Now, granted, that's something they can always fix later, but I'm just thinking they had 2 years. And 2 years. I'm thinking at this point I probably could do a better website using Wix. Just saying. I mean, seriously. I mean, come on. These are the same folks that run things, like NSA, CIA, and they can't put together a decent website. I mean, this isn't the only story I have. The next one This is a story from The Corner, and this is about Ezra Klein. Thus far, Obamacare, a big failure. The Washington Post, Ezra Klein, an Obamacare supporter, slammed the launch of the program's online exchanges in the wake of widespread reports of stalled and dysfunctional websites. Klein warned that given the website's ongoing problems, there may be deeper, more systemic problems. Well, no shit. I mean, come on, folks. If the website's not working, the easiest part of this thing, I mean, come on. I'm farming out the website work, but it's only because I have so much going on, I don't have time to build one. My son could build a website. I've showed him how. And the federal government can't do it. So we're a couple of weeks in and people can't sign up. People have tried 20, 30, 40 times, Klein said on Morning Joe on Monday. It's one thing for that to be true the first 3 or 4 days. It's another thing for it to be true 2 or 3 weeks in. One of the Obama administration's jobs, separate from all the political stuff we talk about here, is simply to run things. To run things like this. To run them well. And at this point I'm kind of ad-libbing a little bit, but I don't feel like this went into this enough. This is their signature legislative initiative. And they can't run it, folks. Because they don't know how. You are about to give the federal government complete control of your life, whether you want to see it that way or not. Because let's face it, the socialist movement has always followed the frog in a pot scenario. It's get them in the water, get them used to it, slowly turn up the heat, they'll get comfortable, before they know it, they're boiling and it's too late. The problem that we have, folks, and the thing nobody wants to talk about, is there are socialists in both parties. There are socialists and flat-out communists in both parties. And I'm sorry, I don't want anything to do with your ideologies. That's one of the reasons why on Common Ground I've stopped posting or contributing very much. Because one of the people that I tried to bring in as an admin is an avid socialist. And anytime she posts anything, it makes my eyes want to bleed. So I've decided it's best if I stay away. Because they tend to have pretty good discussions when I'm not there. And we do have a total of 4 admins, and everything's pretty much covered now. So it frees me up to do the other things that I need to do. But on top of that, it keeps me from wanting to wrap my head in duct tape to keep my head from exploding. Because I'm sorry, folks, if you want socialism, and you want cradle-to-grave healthcare, and you want government to tell you where you should go, what you should do, and how you should do it, there are plenty of countries you can move to. Stop fucking with mine. That simple. This is America, folks. Of the people, by the people, for the people. That's what this government is supposed to be. Not of the rich, by the rich, for the rich. Not of the politician, by the politician, for the politician. Which are now basically one and the same. Because let's face it, you can't get elected in this country unless you've got deep flipping pocketbooks. Or access to deep flipping pocketbooks. And once they get in office, they don't do anything but make more and more money while they're telling you need to do less with your money. I mean, does anyone else find it ironic that before Obama was elected, he's all, well, we can't continue to run our houses, temperature heaters and air conditioners and keep things at 72 degrees and drive around in our SUVs, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Okay, here's the thing, dumbass. If that's really what you thought, then as soon as you got into office, you should have auctioned off Air Force One and went for something much smaller instead of dropping $6 million every time you get in the air. No, that's not an actual number, folks. Just saying. Think about how much money he spends every time he goes anywhere in that giant monstrosity that we honestly really don't need anymore. I'm sure most of the technology that's in that jet could probably be fit in the shoebox these days. Does he really need a flying hotel? When he's telling us that we need to do better, more responsible things with our money? I mean, come on. When did the president and the first lady become the parents of the country? Because is it me or is that what they sound like? well, you need to do this because we know what's better for you than you do, and you need to make sure that you're doing what you can for the environment, and you're not running your air conditioner all the time, and you're not driving an SUV, and you're not doing this, and you're not doing that. Screw you, I have parents. Not only that, but I'm an adult. I can do what I want when I want as long as I'm not breaking the law. And when you make it illegal for me to do the things that weren't illegal when I started doing them, you and I are going to have problems. It's that simple. I mean, we are watching this country completely fall apart, and people are just handing over their freedoms one by one. Oh, you're going to give me free health care. Wait, what do you, what, Obamacare's not free? But the Obama phone was. Why isn't the health care free? Let me tell you why the health care is not free. And for those of you who are panicked about the fact that it's not free, just wait, it'll get there. Right now, what they're trying to do is collapse the insurance industry. Because the Democrat slogan is never let a good catastrophe go unwasted. So what they're going to do is they're going to force the insurance industry to collapse under its own weight. Then they're going to step in and offer a single payer system. And then we're all screwed. Plain and simple. Because then they've got you. They can tell you where you can, or what you can eat. They can tell you where you can go. They can tell you that your ass better be working out 3 or 4 times a week, or we're going to start taxing you to death when you start weighing more than 200 pounds if you're above a certain height or below a certain height. Nothing ever comes well from government control. And that's all this is. Not only is that all this is, it's not even going well. I mean, think about it. If they're trying, which they are, that's just the way it is, that's what they're doing. They are trying to collapse the insurance industry. When they do that, what's going to happen is they're going to swoop in and be government to the rescue. We're going to take care of your health care now. Do you know how many people in other countries who were part of socialized healthcare have moved to this country as either both a doctor or a patient? I wonder why that is. Because at some point, the system will not be able to maintain itself. That's just the way it works. It gets to the point where, I mean, come on, think about it for a second. They're paying $50,000 for hammers and toilet seats. Do you honestly think the healthcare cost is going to go down when whoever's suddenly in charge of the healthcare realizes that the government's going to be the one footing the bill? This is how far down the rabbit hole we have come as a society, folks. We have an entire age group of people who think socialism is the way to go. This is one of the reasons why I am not a fan of the national education system that we have going on right now, because it's not about education anymore, it's about indoctrination. It has been for a long time. They were starting it when I was there, and good Lord, that was forever ago. I took all kinds of civics class and everything else in high school because at some point I thought I wanted to be an attorney until I realized I didn't have the stomach for it. So I was doing all kinds of civics classes, law and government classes, extra history classes, anything I could get my hands on that had anything to do with basically social sciences. I was there. I was a complete social sciences nerd. I had 26 credits by the time I graduated high school, which doesn't seem like much now, but back then that was double what was required. And then some. But I mean, even in those classes, it was Democrat good, Republican bad. And I can only imagine what it's like now. Because now those same people that were teachers have had children of their own who've basically continued to spout that crap, who've now probably had children of their own at this point, because let's face it, I'm an old man. I know I don't sound like it, but I'm 40. So I'm a little up there, which is probably one of the reasons why I'm looking at everything that's going on today and trying to scream at as many people as I can and shake them and go, what the fuck is the matter with you? Do you not see what's going on? We have both houses of the government. Actually, all three major branches of the government are wrapped up in this shutdown crap, and nobody's talking about the fact that the Affordable Health Care Act is a mess. It's a train wreck. It's everything that we tried to warn them it was going to be. But we're not talking about it because we're too busy arguing over the shutdown. I wonder why that is. I can tell you why I think it is. Two halves of the same coin. They all want the same thing. One of them wants to get us there in a bullet train. The other one wants to get us there in a handcar. I'll let you decide which one's which. They all want control. Except for maybe 3 or 4 people in those branches of government that I can think of off the top of my head. They all want control. Because as long as they have you, they can control you, and as long as they can control you, they can get the money they need to feed their own lifestyles, egos, and anything else they have going on. And we're not paying attention anymore. Okay, so at this point, I've ran a little bit long. So I'm kind of starting to get one of those little notices here, so bear with me for just a little second. But yeah, at this point, we'll be right back, folks.
Put my trust in you, just as far as I can go.
Alright, folks, some of you know me, some of you don't. I'm Double R, the founder here at Common Ground Media Group, and we have 2 different channels running. We have Common Ground Media Group Oklahoma over on Blog Talk Radio, and we have Common Ground Radio Oklahoma on Spreaker. Now, Common Ground Radio Oklahoma is a startup. We've been on BTR now since February, but we've decided we want some more airtime and some more flexibility. So for now, mine is one of the only shows that's going to be found over there. I'm going to go ahead and just give you our lineup in order and let you know a few things that are going on behind the scenes. Sundays, over on the BTR channel, we have The Outer Limits, hosted by Steve Long, one of the only libertarian radio hosts that I'm aware of, at least from the amateur angle, and you can catch him every Sunday from 6 to 8 p.m. He does normally have some pretty good live guests on there. He even had a recent gubernatorial candidate on, so if you haven't checked that one out, you may want to go back and hit up our archive shows available on the Blog Talk channel and get caught up. And then we have Monday, my show, which is located over on Spreaker, America Off the Rails. That is, of course, hosted by yours truly. That's basically my conservative show where I rant and complain and vent, and it helps with my sanity, and I hope you guys like it too. And if not, I'm going to still keep doing it anyway, because like I said, it does help with my sanity. And then we have the show on Tuesday, which is Finding Common Ground. That is featuring myself and Dave, and that is, again, located over on the Blog Talk channel. That typically starts between 8 and 8:30, and it's basically where a cranky conservative, yours truly, and a hacked-off Jeffersonian liberal, my buddy Dave, get together and try to talk about current events and see about setting some differences aside to see if maybe we can find a way to fix this crazy mess we all find ourselves in right now. Then we have Wednesday, The Family Factor, hosted by Denny C. That is 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., again, over on the Blog Talk channel. Now, Denny does have some things in the works that he's going to be bringing over to the Spreaker channel. Different formats than The Family Factor. We're still ironing some of that stuff out. Then on Thursday, we have On the Fringes. That is Dave's music show, where basically he plays alternative music, alternate country, indie, pop, all that fun stuff. It's a really great show. Different kind of audience than most of the ones that we bring in, so it's nice to have a little bit of variety. Speaking of variety, we'll get to that in a minute. On Friday, we have the Red Shirt Friday show featuring the Common Ground crew. Normally that's me and Dave and maybe some of the other admins hanging out, just having a little bit of fun from our Common Ground political page over on Facebook. Try to get a few of them involved here and there when we can, at least on Fridays. And then on Saturday, we have a new show hitting the lineup that's all about wrestling. You guys will find more out about that. The first airing will be tomorrow at the time that I record this first commercial for the network that I've done in a while. And that pretty much concludes our lineup for now. Thanks to everybody who's been tuning in and checking us out. We hope you like us over on BTR, and we hope to make lots of new friends over on Spreaker. As we bring more shows in, of course, I will let you know.
Once I rose above the noise and confusion, to just to get a glimpse beyond this illusion. I was soaring ever higher, but I flew too high.
Alright, folks, and we are back. And of course, I am Double R, and this is America Off the Rails. Okay, so before that little lineup break there, we were talking about the fact that at this point, I really don't see a difference between the two parties anymore. And that is honestly the truth. I think we have been infiltrated in both parties by progressives and socialists, and there really isn't much of a difference anymore. We have some normal, everyday Democrats who want things to run smoothly, and then we have their crazy folks running their party and wanting the government to control everything. We have some people that are basically considered right-wing extremists, such as the Tea Party, which I happen to align myself with quite a bit. Kind of a Tea Party / libertarian kind of guy, because I like ideals from both. But the thing that annoys me is you get the hardcore lefties going, and all of a sudden they're talking about how everybody who associates themselves with the Tea Party is a racist. No, and fuck you. I'm not a racist. I've never been a racist. I was exposed to racism at a very young age because when I was a kid growing up, it was still okay to use the N-word around these parts. And I didn't know any better. But as I got older, I definitely realized that, that's not cool. That's not cool at all. And for folks like those of Hispanic descent and African American descent to be screaming at everybody who's aligned with the Tea Party as a racist, well, that's funny coming from a bunch of folks like the Hispanic community who have a community organization group called La Raza. For those of you who don't speak Spanish, that means the race. For anyone, and you can argue with me about this all you want, about the whole privilege argument, everything else, and how it's not really racist. If it's only racism when it's coming from a white guy, I'm sorry, that's just as racist. And you can kiss my ass, I don't care. You can talk about privilege, you can talk about how much easier it is to be a white male in this society than it is to be anything else, and I can call BS because you're looking at overall numbers. I'm talking about actual life experience. Most of the people that I know that are white males are just as broke and pissed off as everybody else around here. But it doesn't change anything for them. They rant, they rave, they whine, they complain, and nothing changes. Because we all have a mindset now, and it took me a while to even get out of this mindset, because I honestly thought about it, folks. I could legitimately sit at home and collect money from the government and not have to do anything. I wobble enough where it's painful when I walk. I have an eye that goes so far adrift that it actually switches, that when you first look at me, until you hear me talk, a lot of people think I'm retarded, which was great when I was a private investigator, because don't get me wrong, I could find ways to use all of that stuff to my advantage, but that's what I'm trying to say. I am constantly in pain, and I'm not telling you that because I want sympathy or anything else. I'm telling you that because I'm trying to make people understand I could be one of the people that are sitting on their couch right now, popping open a can of Pringles, watching Jerry Springer, and saying, "Oh, the government's going to take care of me." No, fuck that. I don't want my kids to see me that way. I don't want my kids to think that's okay. And I almost fell into that trap. I really did. Because I tried for a long time to work my butt off. And there was a job that I had between the first one that I had and running my security company, my first serious one, and running my security company, that it killed me because I was on my feet all the time. I was running like crazy. And because of the way that I now walk, my back was hurting all the time. My muscles were hurting. I mean, my muscles hurt all the time. All the time. It's enough where they've actually prescribed things that I'm supposed to take, and I can't and won't take them because they make me too loopy. Because I can't do my job and I can't function if I'm on these damn pills. But that's what I'm trying to say. It's all about perception and choices. I could be one of the folks, and I could legitimately look at every single one of you who yelled at me for being on the couch and taking government assistance and not working for a living, and I could say, you know what, screw you, I've had a hard life, and it's time for me to sit back and relax. No. Not only no, but hell no. I don't want my kids growing up that way. I don't want my kids thinking it's okay to get a free ride. I don't want my kids thinking it's okay, well, if you work hard and things don't go your way, there just comes a time when you're supposed to throw your hands up in the air and just say, government, save me. No. But that's what these people want. That's why they have all these pamphlets going down around the border towns that says, hey, come to America, we'll put you on food stamps and give you health care. For those of you who haven't gone to the ACA websites yet for the exchanges, you really should. One of the nice little pop-ups you see is you don't have to be an American citizen to qualify for freaking subsidized health care. Let that sink in for just a second. We're handing the people that are coming here illegally complete and total access to all of our programs, and we wonder why they keep coming. Let's see, I can stay in Mexico and I can make $2 a day, or I can come to America even if I can't find a regular job. I can find day labor work for anywhere from, probably depending on where they are, $7 to $12 an hour. And they can get paid cash. So what happens? Since they're paid cash, they go into the local DHS office and say, I need food stamps. And I need health care. And I need housing assistance because I have 14 kids with me. Yes, I know at this point I'm being facetious. But come on. Why? Why? Let me tell you why. The same reason why they don't want voter ID. Because what happens? All of a sudden, Juan Ortega, who is an illegal immigrant, who does not have a voter ID, who does not have a valid driver's license, suddenly becomes Jose Ortega, who is a U.S. citizen, but doesn't vote regularly, or possibly passed away a couple of years ago, and he goes in, gives him that name, and he gets to vote, because somebody hands him Jose Ortega's, sorry, did I mix those names up? Anyway, that was completely off the cuff. But anyway, you see my point. And here's the thing, folks. Last I checked, to do pretty much anything in this country anymore, you needed some form of a valid ID. Okay, look, I'm even willing to, 6 months before voting time, since everybody typically goes to, at least around here, and I'm assuming it's probably that way everywhere else, most people, the first place they go to try to change any voter affiliation or party affiliation, because they don't want to have to go to the county seat, is normally to a DMV. Okay, so here's an idea. Since we have to have IDs to do pretty much everything else, and you can call me crazy at this point because a lot of people are going to say this, for 6 months before any primary election, as long as they can bring in some sort of proof that says they are who they say they are, electric bill in their name, house lease in their name, some sort of government paperwork proving that they are who they say they are on top of that, let them have a free ID. I mean, come on. What does it cost to actually manufacture one of the IDs that everybody's charging anywhere from $25 to $26 for now? What, probably about 5 or 6? Seriously? But anyway, I digress. Since we were a little late on the first break, I'm going to go ahead and take another one now so I can go ahead and get a few other things situated. And there are a couple other things that I want to talk about before we keep going anyway. So we will again be right back.
We were made to be courageous. We were made to lead the way. We could be the generation that finally breaks the chains. We will
Giving the Obama administration the big ones up, right from the middle finger. Common Ground Radio with Double R.
Hey folks, I don't know about you, but I always feel like there just isn't enough time in the day. You know, one of those not enough hours in the day kind of things. But, you know, working full-time, raising a family, trying to start a company, I'm sure some of you can relate. So, what can we do about it, I guess is my question. Short of hijacking Doc Brown and having him show you the secrets to the DeLorean, what if I told you there was a way where we could get you more energy for the hours that you had in your day, instead of worrying about finding more time in your day? Anyway, I found the information through my independent Beachbody life coach, Miss Sherry Britt. You can find her information online at www.beachbody.com/SherryBritt1. Basically, I have to tell you, folks, I haven't been doing it for very long, but it's working. It's one of those total commitment kind of things. I'm using a program called Shakeology. Basically, it's a meal replacement. Think Slim Fast, but better. And also, I have one of Sean T's workout videos. We're doing T25 right now. Started that a couple of days ago. Have to admit, I'm old, I'm fat, and it's painful, but I feel better. And it's one of those things where I'm doing it at my own pace. There's also nutrition plans involved in a lot of these packages if you go for the whole thing. So it's what they like to call a challenge pack. I call it a bundle offer. Basically, it gets you the Shakeology video of your choice and a diet and exercise plan all rolled into one. Basically, it's just one of those things where, what have you got to lose? You might as well try it. We all complain that there's not enough time in the day. What if there just isn't enough energy for us in the day anymore? You remember when we were kids? A day felt like a week, because we were always doing something. Just my thoughts on it, folks. Give it a shot. Like I said, you can find the information at the link I just gave you a minute ago. What have you got to lose?
If you don't believe in God we trust, then strap your bomb to yourself and ride your camel out of here. You're listening to America Off the Rails with Double R, right here on Common Ground Radio.
welcome to your life. There's no turning back. Even while we sleep, we will find you acting on your best behavior.
Alright, folks, and we are back again, as you heard from announcer guy there. This is America Off the Rails, and I am your host, Double R. Okay, so before we get back into a few other articles that I wanted to touch on today, I want to give you an idea of what's coming up this week, because this week over on the BTR channel, things will be a little bit different. We have a guest coming on with us tomorrow for most, if not most of the last hour. She is the person you heard about in that commercial just a second ago, Miss Sherry Britt. Not only is she my independent Beachbody life coach, and yes, I'm aware I need to record a new commercial because I sound like Ben Stein on, how did Otter put it? Ben Stein on Prozac. So, yeah, I was really tired when I recorded that commercial, and I just started the program, so while I could feel things changing, didn't quite have the energy level. If you've been listening over the last few weeks, you'll notice that I have kind of pepped up quite a bit. One, I've gotten more comfortable with this setup. Two, the Beachbody stuff is actually helping folks. So if you are looking for more energy or ways to feel like you have more time in your day, which if you're anything like me, you desperately need, because at this point I'm working about 16 different angles all at once, plus working a full-time job, plus trying to raise a family and keep a wife happy. Sorry, I needed that breath. But anyway, Sherry will be coming on with us tomorrow, not to talk about the Beachbody thing. She'll be over on our BTR channel during the Finding Common Ground show for most, if not all, of the last hour. That show will be starting at 8 a.m. You can find us over on BTR if you haven't looked yet. Over there, we're under Common Ground Media Group, and you can find us there. That's the name of the company that we're founding. Over here, it's Common Ground Radio Oklahoma, because at some point what I plan on doing when we get a studio is moving most, if not everything, over here and using this platform with some studio-based equipment to just broadcast all the time, but you guys don't care about any of that. So, anyway, she will be coming over tomorrow with us to talk about a charity that we're both working on. It was her idea. I've kind of decided to partner with her because she's working the logistics. I'm the PR guy. And it is, hang on, let me make sure I get it right this time, because I put it wrong on the Facebook page earlier, because it's not named what I thought it was. One moment, please. And that's not the right one. You ever have one of those moments when you're trying to do something and you think it's going to go smoothly and then, yeah, it doesn't? I have those all the time. Sorry about that. So anyway, it is the Tornado Shelter Fund organization. Basically, what she's decided, and what I decided I was going to do with her, because I had the same thought, she just got to it before I did because I'm trying to do 8 million different things, is, I don't know how many of you are local to Oklahoma, but if you are, you've been hearing all these news stories about how the legislature wanted to do this and wanted to make sure that there were shelters in our schools for our kids because of everything that happened back in May. Well, we're tired of waiting for the government to make up their mind. So what we're doing is we have started a charity. Now, you did hear me mention earlier that if you send me an email when we start doing t-shirts and things like that, you will be eligible for a discount. The only thing I will not currently be offering a discount for will be the t-shirts associated with the charity. I haven't set a price for those yet because they're still in production. Once we start getting them rolled out, I will let you guys know. Once we have the design completely finished, I may actually post it everywhere so folks can start pre-ordering. Now, like I said, when we start doing the ones specifically for the shows, because I do plan on having ones, kind of charity-based, and then the other one we have will probably have a similar design, but won't be charity-based for now, and I will sell those at a discount. The ones for the charity, probably not, but only because a good portion of that money is going to be going back to the charity when we start selling them. And again, she is going to be coming on tomorrow to talk about that, some other stuff that she's got going on, and and hopefully I'll be able to share more with you guys about what my ideas are as far as being able to help that, because she has a really good idea. The basic goal is to start in Oklahoma, and then once we get it taken care of there, we're going to keep going. There are way too many areas that are affected by tornadoes and other disasters, and we're not doing everything we can to protect our children. That has got to change. If the government doesn't want to do it, which is funny because they're the first ones that tell you, oh, you need us to do this and you need us to do that, and you got to rely on us. We try, and then they go, oh, sorry, don't have the money for that. You know what? Screw you. I don't need your money. I can find ways to get things done. I don't need you. You need me. And that's the part of this that we all seem to be forgetting. The government wants you to think that you need them. You have to have them. You have to rely on them. Without you, they're nothing. Plain and simple. And that's, Sherry and I sat down and we talked about it one day, and we're like, you know what, I'm sick and tired of going through this, because, in Oklahoma, we go through this 2-3 times a year. Granted, not all of them are as bad as they were this past May, or in May 3rd, 99, but it's still a crapshoot every single time. And every single time they start talking about tornadoes, you just start wondering, when is it going to happen? Do I need to go get my kids? Is there anywhere for them to be safe? And I'm done with that. I'm done worrying. I'm done stressing. It's time to do something. So I'll be giving out, as time goes on over the next few weeks, I will be giving out more and more information about the GoFundMe link for both this network and for Sherry. Now, for my network specifically, anything you give, 50% will be going towards the charity. I'm pretty sure hers is about closer to 100%, but I'll let her explain that tomorrow. The only reason I'm setting mine at 50% is because there are lots of things that I want to do with the money that will also be put back towards the charity, just not going directly towards the money for the shelters. So I guess that's not entirely clear or understandable, because the majority of the money will be going back into the charity in one form or another. It's just some of it will be going towards funding other things for my aspect of the charity. Because not only will I be helping her with hers, I have a charitable charitable wing of things that I want to get started over here on Common Ground as well, as far as the company goes. So lots of things in the works, lots of things going on. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. You'll find out more about the Tornado Shelter Fund organization, and it's going to be an exclusive because she's actually interviewing with us before she goes on the local airwaves here. So that's kind of awesome. First time I've had a scoop since we've been doing this. Just lets me know that people actually are starting to pay attention, so it makes me really happy. Okay, so other thing we have going on that will be not completely out of the ordinary, but a little different, because we really haven't had very many guests lately, and now suddenly it seems like everybody's asking to come on, which is completely awesome, don't get me wrong. If you've got something that you're doing that you're trying to build up and you want to talk about it on the air, give us a shout through email, Twitter, Facebook. I'm good. We'll find a way to make it happen for you. But a good friend of mine who I used to work with at the previous job that shall remain nameless, otherwise known as Hell, for those of you who used to work there, and you know who you are and you know what I'm talking about. We were both team leaders there at the same time. At the same time, I moved over to where I currently have a day job. Shortly after that, he got some things going, and he's decided, you know what, I'm going to do what I want to do full bore. So he's performing all the time now. He is an excellent singer, and he's going to be hanging out with us all day Friday on Red Shirt Friday over on the Common Ground Network over on BTR. So make sure to tune in and check out Duke Swayze. Speaking of which, Sheriff, if you're hearing this, he knows about the concert/workout for the charity. He is interested in trying to find out if there's any way that he can contribute, but we will talk about that more tomorrow, just in case you're not listening now. Alright, so I think you've heard me prattle on enough. For the 5 of you that are still listening that haven't turned it off. Okay, yeah, for those of you who don't know me well enough yet, I give myself crap all the time. It makes it easier because I figure if I'm the one who does it, nobody else is going to want to do it, and that suits me just fine. So yeah, but anyway, lots of stuff going on still. A few more things that I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, this one made me chuckle. Not gonna lie. Let me get it pulled up here. This is from the Weekly Standard. So yeah, I'm specifically pulling things from like big name papers for the most part. They're online versions. Just so you know, I'm not pulling it from like, oh my god, he's getting stuff from the Blaze and trying to say that it's true, or he's getting stuff from Politico or other stupid little blogs that nobody pays attention to. So this is from the Weekly Standard, and this is the title, and this is dated for today. 2 weeks later, reporters still can't sign up for Obamacare. Dun dun dun! We're all gonna die. Just saying. By the time they figure all this crap out, if you've got some sort of condition that's gonna wind up causing you major issues, you're probably gonna die before they get you into the offices. The healthcare.gov website has been online for 2 weeks. 2 weeks! But folks are having trouble signing up. One person who says she's been trying for 2 weeks straight to sign up is CNN senior medical correspondent Elizabeth Cohen. This link actually has a video, if you'd like to see the video. And she continues to say, I put in my username and password, and it didn't recognize it. She says, showing one example of how she was unable to use the website. Error messages, page not found, system down. It's been a tough nearly 2 weeks for Obamacare. I've been trying since day one to get an account and log into healthcare.gov. She says, I failed again and again and again. Cohen says she's even set an alarm clock for 3 a.m., hoping that she'd be able to sign up then, when traffic to the site would be presumably low, but the system was down at that time. Like I said, folks, I'm really starting to wonder if the shutdown isn't smoke and mirrors to detract from this. Because if it wasn't for the shutdown, this would be all we were talking about. The Obama administration can't even run its signature health care. The one thing that he's touted, that he's been able to do, that no other president's been able to do, and they've been wanting to do it since the 1900s. And they can't run the shit. Is anyone else alarmed by this? Oh, no, don't worry about it. Just roll over, go back to sleep, everything's fine. Go back to your reality TV, everything's going to come out in the wash. And if you really still believe that, you need to wake the fuck up. We are going down in flames, and Mr. President is sitting in the Oval Office playing his fiddle while we go. And for all of you right-left idiots that are, oh my God, my party's still trying to do the right... No, they're not. They're not. They don't give a crap about you. They want power. They want money. They want control. And they find ways to get it by standing up for things that they know that you're going to fight about and you're going to argue amongst yourselves about. We are so divided as a nation. And you know what? I'm really getting sick of making that statement, but it's so true. I just realized I've said that pretty much on every single show I've done for the last since February. Nothing's changing. If anything, it's getting worse. The guy who was supposed to reach across the aisle when the Republicans reached out to him, he slapped him across the damn face. Do I know if things would have been any better with Romney? No, not honestly. But I do know he had a track record of working with both sides. Were there things that he wanted to talk about that I didn't agree with? Yes. Are there things that his running mate is now doing now that he's back in the legislature that I don't agree with? Yes. But if nothing else, like I said, one side wants to get us where they feel like we need to go in a bullet train. The other side wants to get us there in a handcar. I don't know about you, but I'll take a handcar or a bullet train any day while I'm trying to get all this shit sorted out. So that's something that all you folks that stayed home last election need to flip and think about. Yes, our system sucks. It's broken. It needs to be fixed. Hell, as far as I'm concerned, it needs to be replaced. But it doesn't need to be replaced by socialist dictatorships and anything else that we want to throw at it. We need to go back to what this country was founded on. Quit trying to control every aspect of our lives. And yes, I mean every aspect of our lives. I'm going to tell you, folks, I'm conservative and I don't personally agree with a lot of things, but I can take care of that stuff at home. I can teach my kids how to pray at home. I can teach them about the Ten Commandments at home. I can teach them that as far as my religion teaches me and my belief teaches me, homosexuality is wrong. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to hold everybody else to that same damn standard, and we need to stop. Each side wants to control different things. The only thing that ever changes is where the money goes. Yes, it's wrong to have an abortion. Yes, it's murder to have an abortion. But let's face it, even if we make it illegal, they're still going to flip and have abortions. Should they be trying to hand out the morning after pill to 13 and 14-year-old children without adult consent? No. Should they get it back to the point where everybody's using coat hangers in back alleys because they don't want a kid? No. If we don't find middle ground that doesn't involve completely selling out everything that we believe in, then we're all going to be screwed. Because, let's face it, folks, the socialists, whether they're Democratic socialist or Republican socialist, they're united. They just don't tell you that to your face. They're the ones slowly working behind the scenes to bring all of this stuff about, and it's working. And we fall for it every time. We have an election, and all of a sudden it's, oh, this person's going to win by a landslide, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that didn't happen this last time either. According to the talking heads and the pundits and the dude with the chalkboard, who as far as I'm concerned, the whiteboard, who as far as I'm concerned needs to retire because he's been wrong now at this point more times than he's ever been right. So just go home and leave us alone. Shut up with your damn whiteboard and your marker about how if this happens and this happens and this happens, it's always going to be the Republican in office, or this is going to cause the incumbent to lose. You know what? there's all kinds of folklore and legends around elections where, there's never been an incumbent who's won if during such and such football game this team loses and blah 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 blah, blah. And you guys really, you're telling me I need to invest in a tinfoil hat because I think that both sides of the government now are conspiring with each other to get the things that they want? But you're telling me that because the Washington Redskins won or lost is going to determine whether or not whichever side wins a flippin' election? Are you kidding me? And I'm the one that needs to put on a tinfoil hat. Well, all you guys can kiss my ass. Because you were wrong. And you were wrong at this point more times than you've ever been right. And the thing that nobody else wants to talk about is the fact that both sides of our government currently want the same thing. They want your money, they want your patronage, and they want control of you. One of them just wants to turn up the heat on your boiling frog pot ass a little faster than the other. But this is my point. If we know that going in, shouldn't we at least vote for the folks that are trying to do all this crap just a little slower and then keep trying to work on changing it? Or do we just keep voting for the folks that are wanting to mash the floor or the accelerator to the firewall and drive us right off the bridge to nowhere? Because that's where we're headed, folks. We are going down in flames, and nobody seems to give a crap, and I wonder why that is. Nobody's talking about it. You get hours upon hours upon hours about the shutdown, and then you hear a nice little blurb about how much the Obamacare website sucks, and how it's not working. I don't know what to do anymore, folks. I'm gonna continue to shout from my little molehill that I'm slowly trying to build into a mountaintop. Hopefully I will wake some of you up along the way. But if I don't, at least I can look at my family and say, you know what? I did what I could do from where I was to try to make my little corner of the world a better place. Which is all this is about. Because I'm trying to bring to you perspectives that I'm not hearing from anywhere else. Maybe you are, maybe I'm just not listening to the right folks, I don't know. But the only thing I know for sure is at this point, if we do not do something to change the situation that we're in, I give America a decade before she's either no more or she is so completely unrecognizable that it won't matter anymore. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to leave my children a world without the United States of America being the land of the free and the home of the brave, not the land of the land of the free healthcare and the home of the slave. I've said it before, and I will say it again. These programs that have been implemented, most of them were supposed to be temporary. The income tax was supposed to be temporary. That's why Congress has to vote on it to continue to keep it in place. The food stamp program that started out under many different variations was all supposed to be temporary. The problem is, someone at some point, you remember that excellent moment we were talking about at the beginning of the show where some little 80s kid was watching the Popeye movie and going, ooh, those are all really good ideas. Apparently there was more than one that had that thought, because let's face it, most of the taxes and stuff that were in that movie, we pay them now. I mean, you pay a freaking phone bill over the telephone with your credit card, and there's a $10 convenience fee. What the hell's convenient about you making me call you to give you my credit card to pay a bill? There's nothing convenient about that. What do you mean there's a $2.50 surcharge for me to even pay this shit online? But anyway, I digress, because there was somewhere else I was going. So, at the same time, somebody was watching that Popeye movie and went, I bet you we could find ways to make this happen. There was someone in the government who had the same general idea. Whether they were already part of the government, or maybe one of the folks that had the ear of the government, I'm not sure. But they went, what if we became the group that always said, hey, vote for me, and I'll make sure that you get more of the help that you need? Do you honestly think that they did that because they give a crap about you? Because if you do, do me a favor. When this show's over, take the blue pill and go the fuck away. Go back to sleep, wake up, tell yourself whatever you want to hear when the dream's over, because I ain't got time for you. I really don't. I'm done with the partisan deadheads. I don't care if you're right, left, whatever. I'm done with the partisan deadheads because both sides are trying to screw us. And it's time that we wake up. So if you're one of those hardcore, the right is always right and they can't do anything wrong, I got a blue pill for you, go the fuck away. If you're one of those, the left is always correct and they can't do anything wrong and socialism rules and capitalism's evil, here, take a blue pill, go the fuck away. Anybody who's still left, it's time to wake up. We may not be living in a computer-controlled matrix, but ladies and gentlemen, we are living in a matrix. We are living in contrived catastrophes, in non-wasted issues. In basically, they'll cook something up, and suddenly, all of a sudden, it's, well, we have to do this and we have to do that. And no, for you really, really out there, folks, I'm not talking about 9/11. I'm not that far into the tinfoil hat realm yet. Give me some solid proof and we'll talk. But until then, as far as I'm concerned, that was a bunch of terrorists trying to bloody the nose of America because we'd been wusses for the last 8 years and they thought we wouldn't do anything about it. So. But yeah. If you really, really want to know how far down the rabbit hole we've gone, then keep tuning in every week and I'll give you a little more. If you want to go back to the world of everything's good, sunshine, lollipop, roses, all that fun crap, I ain't got no time for you anymore, so you might as well stop listening. Not trying to be mean, not trying to be hateful, just telling you, if you're one of those, my party's right and everybody else is wrong, I ain't got no time for you. Because that's not what this show's about. I am a conservative. I believe in conservative values. But I believe in conservative values starting in the home level. I do not believe in the government shoving conservative values down everyone's throat. Because if all of us who were conservatives were taking care of our own business in our homes instead of saying, well, why can't my kids see the Ten Commandments in the schools? Well, what the hell do you care if they see the Ten Commandments in the schools? They should be talking about it in your house. What about all these... Well, I can't believe they don't talk about the Constitution anymore in school. Really? Can you not get to the Constitution in your home? My kids had homework about the Constitution every single night. My kids hated me because they always had extra homework. I didn't care what they had going on. When they were in the grade school, middle school level, they always had extra homework. I don't care because I wanted to make sure that, one, they were able to do things that they needed to do, and two, that they were getting the things that I knew they weren't getting in school anymore. That's my job as a parent. So for all of you, abortion is wrong and it should be illegal, and gay marriage is wrong and it should be illegal. You know what? As far as I'm concerned, and as far as I teach my children, that's correct. But it's not my job to judge anyone else. So I won't. I will teach my children the things that I feel they need to know and let them make their own decisions. But I'm not going to be the person who shoves what I think down everyone else's throat. That is not what America is about. That's not what it's ever been about. And that's one of the things that really pisses me off. Because no matter which side you're on, there's something somebody wants to control. And nobody wants to admit that. And the problem is, as we go on, the things that everybody's wanting to control are becoming more and more aligned. I mean, come on, folks. When you've got people that would much rather listen to Muslims than conservatives, when it comes to things like gay marriage, we're losing. Because those folks, the extremists of them, would much less kill a homosexual than even look at them. And they affiliate more with a Muslim than they do with the conservatives. We're losing. I don't care who you want to sleep with. I don't care who you want to marry. The only thing that I've ever been concerned about is Once marriage is legal, you're going to have that 5 or 10% that's been screaming the loudest that's going to start banging down the doors of every single flippin' church anywhere in this country and be like, marry me or I'm going to sue you. That is not right. That is not cool. That's the only thing that I've ever been worried about. I don't care who you want to spend your life with. I don't care what you do behind closed doors. It's none of my damn business. But there are those of us who do not believe that what you are doing is right, so don't force us to condone it. I'm not judging you for it. I leave you alone, and I treat you as a human being, and all I ask is that you do the same. It's that simple. If you want to call me a homophobic prick because I'm telling you that as far as I'm concerned, what you're doing is sinful, I can say the same thing to an alcoholic. That doesn't mean I don't love them. I could say the same thing about the guy that goes to church on Sunday morning after he sleeps around on his wife on Saturday night. He's being just as sinful as you are. It doesn't mean that I don't love you, and it doesn't mean that I don't respect you as a person, and it doesn't mean that I don't give you the right to make those choices. I'm not your judge. I don't want to be your judge. I want you to be afforded the same opportunities as everyone else gets, because nobody penalizes the guy who's sleeping around with his wife until he gets caught. Nobody's penalizing the drunk until he kills somebody. He can still vote, get tax deductions, whatever else. I don't care. I can take care of the things that most of the conservative platforms run on in my home. And if each and every one of us were doing that on a daily basis, we would have nothing to worry about, because we wouldn't need the government to put the 10 Commandments in the schools and let our children pray in schools and do this and do that and do this and everything else, because we would be teaching them to do it at home and not just when they're in Sunday school. So again, if you want to know just how far down the rabbit hole this country we have gone, continue to tune in every week, and I will continue to bring you what I find. If you want to take the blue pill, roll over, and go back to sleep, more power to you. But when you wake up one day and everything that you hold dear is gone, and the government suddenly holding a gun to your head, basically telling you what you can do, where you can go, who you can see, what you can eat, when you can go to the doctor, what kind of procedures you can have, and oh, I'm sorry, yes, you have cancer, you only have 6 months to live, but it's going to be 8 months till we can get you to a specialist. You don't believe me? Research a lot of the other places in this world that have socialized medicine. There's a reason they come here. We do not have socialized medicine yet. Anyone who's trying to tell you we do is just trying to scare the shit out of you. But what they're not telling you, which is true, is this is the framework to get us there, because they're going to collapse the insurance industry. Once they collapse the insurance industry, they will have no other alternative as far as anyone basically is concerned, because we have been indoctrinated to trust the government first. The government, I mean, come on, Chris Rock said it. As far as he's concerned, Barack and Michelle Obama are the parents of the country, and you don't argue with your parents. When they tell you it's time for bed, it's time for you to go to bed. If you think he was trying to be funny, I don't. I mean, maybe to a point. But he believes what he said. Not only does he believe what he said, there are plenty of people who went right along with him and started clapping and screaming and yelling. These are the subtle shifts. Nobody's paying attention to them. The government is now in control of the education of your children. They won't allow voucher programs because that would remove control. The government is now in charge of the meals that your children eat when they are in school at the federal level. Except for a few states that have been opting out, because now that Michelle Obama's made that her little pet project, nobody wants to eat the food. Big surprise there. The government now wants to be in control of your health care. So let's recap. Government's in charge of your education of your children. which basically means they decide what they learn, how they learn it, when they learn it, and how. And the government is about to be in control of your healthcare. Has anybody looked at the educational rankings in this country since we've given national control of the education system to the government? Because I have. It ain't pretty. We're raising a generation of idiots. The sad thing is, some of them are really, really book smart idiots. But they're still idiots because they have absolutely no common sense. They can spout facts, they can regurgitate anything you ask them, but they can't form their own opinions. Anything they give you is a talking point from somewhere else, whether it be left or right, because they get spoon-fed information, and that's all they ever do. And it's been that way for a very long time, because we stopped teaching to educate, or we stopped teaching to educate. We started teaching to pass tests, so that states could get more money. When all you're doing over and over and over again is teaching children how to pass tests, you're not teaching them how to succeed in life. And again, like I said, this is not just the fault of the government, because there are things that could be being done at home, and they are not. And it really is that simple, because there are things that could be being done at home, and they're not. So, yes, you can blame the nationalization of education all you want. It is one symptom of the problem. It is not the only symptom of the problem. You can blame the fact that we now have 3 million channels on TV and access to pretty much any show you want on the internet if you know where to find it. As to the fact that people have no time to do the things that are important anymore. Again, that is one symptom, not the problem. The issue with all of these things is not that the symptoms exist. It's the fact that no one wants to come to terms with the fact that the government wants these symptoms to exist. Because as long as you are letting them teach your children, and only them teach your children, they can control what they learn, how they learn it, and what they know. They can also spoon-feed them all the information about how America is really an evil place. It was founded by a bunch of fanatics who just wanted to get away from their government. The revolution was actually illegal, which is true, it was. But they're now starting to teach them, it was treasonous and blah blah blah, yada yada yada. Sorry, but the people who actually win the battles get to decide that. If the British had won, yes, they would have all been hung as treasonous bastards. The British didn't win, so they aren't treasonous bastards, they're patriots. Just that simple, folks. But the problem that we have is we now have a bunch of people in academia who do not like America, have never liked America, and they're slowly killing her from within. And we're all sitting back, eating supersized fries, watching whatever shows on TV that night, and, well, I'm sure everything's going to be fine. And just for the record, I did open the show talking about TV shows that I enjoy, so even I occasionally take a break and watch some TV. But as I've said before, there are a large number of you who are now on Facebook who are screaming and ranting and raving and bemoaning and frustrated. So do something. Find a way to get involved in your local level. Everyone is good at something. There is something you can do. Go to a candidate that you believe in and say, look, I don't even care if you pay me or what. I don't even care if I do it from my home. Give me a list. Tell me who to call. Granted, I don't even know why I said don't care if you pay me, because they don't normally pay those folks. But there are things that you can do. And it's best just to start out in the local level. Get involved in local level issues. Go to school board meetings. Go to your city meetings when they're open. Go find out what's going on. Go find out how much Agenda 21 has actually infiltrated your world while you've been sleeping. Yeah, giving you a little taste of what's coming up here in the next few weeks, because I've done a lot of research on Agenda 21 and even spent some time talking about it over on the BTR channel. Agenda 21 is some scary shit. And we're not even paying attention to it at all. Not at all. There are only a few of us that even know what it is. So that's your homework assignment for the next few weeks. If you're interested in finding out just how far down the rabbit hole we have gone, you need to start doing your own research. So do me a favor. Probably within the next 3 weeks I will have a show put together about Agenda 21. You can find most of the information that I'm going to be using simply by Googling Agenda 21. So knock yourself out. Spend a few minutes a day. Learn something. Expand your mind. That's why we're all here. Anyway, folks, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. This is my Friday at my day job, so there are some things that I need to start getting ready for. It has been my pleasure sitting in with you guys today. We will be back tomorrow over on the BTR channel. Don't forget to tune in over there. You can find us Common Ground Media Group over on Blog Talk Radio. Once you put that in as a search, if you do that at 8 o'clock, you should see a link that says live. That'll take you straight to the show that we're currently doing. Again, Sherry Britt will be joining us for the last half of the show, or the last quarter. Not sure which yet, because she does have a meeting beforehand, but she will be on. And as per usual, gonna kind of take us out the same way I took us in. So, it's time for you to make a choice, folks. Don't care which choice you make, but it is time to make that choice. And we will see you tomorrow over on BTR. Be back over here on Monday. Hopefully I can get some of the other hosts to come over here. I have to admit, I love you guys over here. My little rambly show already has over 500 followers. That is so cool.
You can feel it when you go to work, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
What truth?
That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
I'm not afraid to take a stand, take a stand. Everybody, come take my hand, come take my hand. We'll walk this road together through the storm, whatever weather, cold or warm. Just letting you know that you're not alone.
You're listening to America Off the Rails with Double R, right here on the Common Ground Media Network.